Hello my friends, today I wanted to do something fun and light-hearted, so I thought that I would do a favourites video because I love favourites videos, especially when they're a little bit witchy or spiritual related, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this. And I might finish it up with a little bit of a reading, watching, listening to, and also a bit of a life update. So I'll just tell you about some of the things that I've been enjoying recently, and I've got some various different witchy bits and pieces and cards and crystals and what have you, so I'll get started. Now, I recently got interested in learning about entheogens, which is just a fancy way of saying hallucinogenic herbs and substances used for a spiritual purpose. And I listened to a podcast featuring Sarah Ann Lawless, and from there I read her website and got some information there and just started looking up some things. But her site where she sells her flying ointments and things was actually down at the time, but I found a really great Etsy shop that we have here in Australia called Belladonna and Bones, and I found this product which is called Atavus Balm, and it's meant to be an ancestor reverence balm, so you use it to like for hedge crossing and you know, just inducing a light trance state. So it's a mild hallucinogen, but this one doesn't really pack much of a punch. It contains acacia resin, apple, rosemary, pomegranate, thyme, parsley, birch, bay, laurel, willow, beeswax, and rice bran oil. So yeah, it's those herbs in the beeswax and rice bran base. And so your parsley and your bay, laurel, and possibly your willow would have a little bit of a hallucinogenic effect, but it wouldn't be as strong as something like your belladonna or wormwood or something like that. After doing my research, I decided not to start out with those herbs, to just start off quite light. With something that wouldn't pack much of a punch, and you probably get more of a hallucinogenic effect if you did something like take antihistamines and then drink Coca-Cola, because a friend of my brother's once did that. He got bitten by a spider, so he was on antihistamines, and then he drank too much Coke and he actually had a really bad trip and passed out. Not saying that I would recommend doing that, but I'm just saying that that's what can happen. And that's going to be a lot stronger than using these kind of herbs. Like, it's just going to be a very subtle effect to just alter your state of consciousness and help induce that light trance. You still would have to do some of the work yourself though, I think. However, I'm not speaking from experience because I haven't actually used this one yet for various reasons that I'll go into later. But oh, I can't wait to use it. I'm really looking forward to it. The vibration of it is just beautiful. And as soon as I saw it on the site, I kind of felt drawn to it, and I knew it was for me. She had a little information thing on there about it with a little poem and some different things which I felt really drawn to, and it really resonated with me. So I'm very glad to have this one, and I'm looking forward to using it. And from that site, I also bought these spell candles, and I've burned them down a little bit. They're a beeswax and herb spell candle with a hemp wick, and they're just absolutely beautiful. They're called the Claritas divination spell candles. So I've been burning them when I do divination. They were like, they're only a little candle, they were about that much higher, and I burned them at the spring equinox when I did some divination then, and then at the full moon as well. And I've just got them on my altar that I'll be burning them for special occasions. And I've got another one here as well, and I'm also really happy that they fit into my brass dolphin candle holders. Aww. When I fit them in there, I was just like, my life is complete. They were so cute, and yeah, I'm just really loving them. So yeah, I really recommend Belladonna and Bones. She's got some cool stuff on there, and a whole bunch of different flying ointments if you want to go into, you know, maybe you want to start out with some of the stronger ones if you're a bit more daring than me and what have you. But yeah, that might be something that you want to look into. Also, I bought another metal candle holder. This is just one of those things where you walk into a shop and you see something that you never knew you needed, and it's just perfect for you. And I just put it on my altar, and now I think that my altar looks just so with this candle holder on it. And I got it from a shop that we have here called Azure House, Gladstone. So that is, it's over near the airport. I can't remember what the name of the shop is of the centre that it's in. but it's really fantastic. I think it's brass, but it's stainless steel coated. I'm not actually sure, but it's just perfect, and it fits my tapers in it just beautifully. So I'm really loving that. Yay! And so I'll talk a little bit about my new crystals now. I was at the markets with my husband. We've got some country markets out here in a country town that we have nearby, which are really fantastic, and there's often a few crystal sellers there, and an elderly lady and gentleman was selling these a bunch of crystals, and they had these nice chunks of black tourmaline, and I felt really drawn to this one, and my husband bought one as well, but this one just fits perfectly in my hand. It's actually got a little crook here where it kind of fits in the palm of my hand, and it just feels so perfect. And I haven't been able to put it down. I've been meditating with it all the time, and there's just something about it that I just really love. I feel like it's got a lot of deep and ancient knowledge within it that I'm probably meant to assimilate and like kind of absorb and download, I guess. I hope that doesn't sound too woo, but yeah, I just love it. And I was talking to a friend and she said, oh, that black tourmaline, that's really good for releasing negativity. So I must have a lot of negativity that I need to let go of. And that's probably true as well, but I don't think that's the only thing that this crystal's for. I'm really feeling that ancient kind of vibe from it. So I'm really loving it. And I also bought from another local shop that we have here some beautiful little pieces of aragonite, and they had some pink aragonite. I don't know if you can see that beautiful color, but it's just really similar to rose quartz, but kind of a bit less gemmy and a bit more opaque. And then they had some pieces of blue aragonite, and I actually bought a couple of pieces of this because I couldn't choose between them. And this one, I don't think my camera's going to pick it up, but you can actually see little crystalline bits in it, like just in here, and then it's got some kind of lines in it there as well, and it's just stunning. I looked it up in the Crystal Bible, which is one of the very few crystal books that I own. I want to buy some more crystal books at some stage, but it's just very good for raising your vibration for meditation, as well as being a very grounding and centering and calming stone. So it's got a lot of really good healing properties to it. And I've been using them, my little pieces that I got for gridding, so I put them in some grids, and yeah, I'm really enjoying that one. It's interesting because I didn't actually know that it came in pink. My Crystal Bible lists blue and the usual brown and that kind of thing, and the orange, but I've only ever owned aragonite in the Sputnik formation, and they call it a Sputnik because there's a spaceship that looks similar, like it's got the central bit and then there's little bits coming off it, so it's like, it looks like the space station, so they call it the Sputnik. But yeah, so I'm really happy to have those now in my collection as well. So I'll talk a little bit about the decks that I have bought recently. So this one, I haven't done unboxings of these, so they're not going to be my first impressions. They're going to be my impressions having worked with them for a little while. And the first one is the Star Child Tarot. I have really been loving this one and enjoying working with it. This was my Imbolc present to myself because I've been buying one each Sabbat, so I've been buying one for each of the 8 festivals of the year. So I've now got 8 new tarot decks that I bought myself this year because I kind of caught up and bought a few too many. But this one is really beautiful. It was a little bit of an investment for me because I had to buy it from Canada, and then I had to pay postage, which was quite high, but it's just worth every cent. That's the backing. I hope you can see that. Yep, there you go. So that's really beautiful, and I just love it. All of the suits are the same except for the suit of Pentacles, which she has changed to crystals. Danielle Knoll is the creator, and it's just kind of a photo collage kind of style, and I've seen it described as a mixture of space age and vintage, so it's really beautiful in that way. And I've also seen it described as like a rose quartz crystal in the form of a tarot deck where you walk into another world where everything's in this beautiful shade of pink, and I thought that was a really cool description as well. and I'm just really loving working with it. It's some of the names of the major arcana have been changed, so that's oppression, which would be, I think, the devil, and it's kind of a new agey cosmic consciousness kind of a vibe, which I'm okay with. I think sometimes, yeah, there's a lot of cats in this deck, which is funny. I'm not into cat decks, but I do love this deck. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the only card that should have cats in it is the Queen of Wands, but there are a few cats in this deck, and I'm okay with it. It was one thing that put me off about the deck, to be honest, but yeah, I do love it anyway. So, and yeah, it's kind of that cosmic consciousness kind of a vibe, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm in the mood for that occasionally. Being a very kind of earth-centric practitioner and a pagan witch, I do prefer your more earthy kind of nature-based decks for the most part, but sometimes I'm in the mood for something like this. So I really love it. And the cardstock, oh, there are just no words for how beautiful the cardstock is. It's so smooth and silky and perfectly laminated, shuffles really nicely, although it is quite large and I have small hands, but apart from that it shuffles beautifully. You've kind of got a lot of mandala art in it and different symbols, and it's just lovely. There's the Four of Cups, another cat. So yeah, that is the Star Child Tarot, and I'm really enjoying that at the moment. Another deck that I recently bought for myself is one that I did not expect to like. However, despite myself, I do like it, and you might laugh, I actually think it's funny, but it is the Doreen Virtue Guardian Angel Tarot deck. And I actually despise her other two tarot decks, the Angel Tarot and the Archangel Power Tarot. I just think the artwork is yucky, and I don't like how she changed the name of some of the major arcana but not all of them, and I just didn't like what she did with those decks. With this one, she has changed the name of every single major arcana card. She's changed the names of all the suits, and she's changed the names of all of the court cards, and somehow I still like it, and I still think that it retains the energy and the essence of tarot. So that's really interesting. But I'll just show you some of the cards now. So you've got like a little border, that's the backing, so you've just got a nice angel picture there with pink and roses. It's just kind of old school and vintage, which I quite like, to be honest. When I first opened it, I was like, oh, I really like it despite myself. And it was quite cheap. You know, I bought it from $16 from just a department store that we have here in Australia. And the cardstock is quite crap. I actually had some cards that were sticking together when I first bought it, so I was disappointed with that, but for the price you can't really complain. So this one is the Guardian of Abundance, which would be the King of Pentacles. So Guardians are the kings, and then the suit of abundance is the suit of pentacles, or that's the equivalent in this deck. And with this one you've got 14, a win-win solution, which is her version of temperance, and you've kind of got these two old men talking on a bench there, and I kind of like that. And then you've got fair decisions, that would be the equivalent of the justice card, and that's just got this pretty picture of a unicorn on it. And you've got a bunch of like keywords down here, or a little description of the card, which some people find annoying. With this card I can deal with it. With this deck I can deal with it, so that's fine. Yeah, number 4, organization, so that would be the equivalent to the Emperor. The Emperor, yeah, so that's her Emperor, is organization. 10 of thought, so the suit of thought is the suit of swords, or air. You've got number 2, go within, which is her high priestess, and I love the picture of the angel holding a book and a scroll here. I just think that really captures the essence of the high priestess, but it's different, it's angel, and it's really overwhelmingly positive. And I think tarot can be positive. Some people would say that tarot is kind of dark and not for the faint-hearted, and things like that by definition, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it really depends on the reader and how they read, and if you are a reader who likes to put a positive spin on every single card and, you know, get something uplifting and kind of positive to help your querent move forward in a reading, then I think that this deck would work really, really well for that. And it's just different, but I like it. And then you've got Healer of Action. I think the healers are queens, and the suit of action is the suit of wands. And then you've got, yeah, Abundance again is Pentacles. 0 is the Fool, so that's a new beginning. And the suit of Cups is Emotion. So yeah, there it is, 3 of Emotion. So that would be your equivalent to the 3 of Cups. And you've just got 3 little cherubs playing there. So yeah, that is Doreen Virtue Guardian Angel Tarot. Yeah, not the type of deck that I expected to like, but I do like it. So that's funny. And the other new deck that I bought myself is the Night Sun Tarot, and I first saw this on Our Moon 513's channel, and I really liked it. It's got a really great vibe happening with it. It's kind of a darker themed deck, so it's kind of got that gothic sort of dark thing happening, but it's also got some sacred geometry in it and different symbolism, so like some ceremonial magic symbolism, and it's also, some of the cards have got this shamanistic vibe to them, and it makes for a really great reading. I've really enjoyed this deck. And I also bought this one because it's a Los Scarabeo deck, and I wanted to get the Tarosophy introduction or invitation card, so I'm thinking of joining Tarosophy, but I'm still thinking about that. I might talk about that in another video at some stage. But so for example, here you've got the 6 of Swords, and you've got a person carrying some swords and carrying a load, and so in your traditional Rider-Waite deck, you've got the person in the boat moving away from a situation, so they're in the boat with the swords and they're moving on, cutting their losses and just moving forward. And this one's kind of got that vibe to it too, but you've got the person wearing the kind of little hawk mask there, so there's kind of this sense of going on a shamanistic journey or a shamanic journey or some kind of inner pathworking journey to do with moving forward. So that I drew this card for myself recently, and that was what I got from it, and that was certainly a theme for this card that I felt. So that was really interesting, and I'll just show you some more of the images. So that's the Chariot, and that's the one that is on the cover of the box. It's the Swords. So you can see there's some kind of creepy, kind of interesting stuff going on with this deck. Sorry about the glare there, I hope you can see them well enough. Some of them are kind of simplistic, but they've got a pattern to them, and they're kind of really, like this one looks like a mandala, and you've got that sacred geometry and the traditional symbolism in it. That's one of the knights, Knight of Swords. Very cool. So yeah, I really like this deck. I find it really cool, and I'm hoping to get to work with it more. That's a pretty cool 5 of Pentacles. It's not like the traditional image again, but I'm sure you could derive the same or a similar kind of meaning out of it. So yeah, again, just a simple image, but it's kind of got a pattern to it, which triggers your intuition, I think. So yeah, that is the Night Sun Tarot. Yeah, so I'll do a little bit of a reading, watching, listening to. So what I have been reading lately is this book, Spirits of the Sacred Grove by Emma Restall-Orr. She's one of my favourite authors. I read an anthology that she contributed to called Pagan Visions for a Sustainable Future. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, and she was one of the contributors to that and one of the editors. So I read a little bit of her work in that, and then I came across the book in a shop when I was in Brisbane one time visiting my cousin and auntie, and it was called Kissing the Hag, The Dark Goddess and the Unacceptable Nature of Woman, and that book was absolutely fantastic. It was life-changing. Reading it was like really good shadow work, and when I say that, there's no exercises in the book. It's just reading it. You just come face to face with your shadow, and parts of that book made me cringe because it was just so visceral, and the imagery, the way that she writes is just fantastic. And this book is just, the prose that she uses is absolutely beautiful. She talks about going through the seasons and the 8 Sabbats as a druid, and it's not a how-to book on druidism, so that was, it just sounded like something that I would like to read, because even though that's not my path, I think that as pagans we can learn a lot from other paths. So I'm really loving this book. I'm a little way through it so far. I only just got it the other week, and I bought it secondhand from a seller on Etsy here in, eBay. Yeah, eBay here in Australia. So I got it for a really good price, so I'm really stoked that I got such a good deal, and I'm loving the book. I think I want to read all of her books that I possibly can eventually. So yeah, Emma Restel, I really love her work, and I very highly recommend it. I have been watching a little bit of TV. I watch a bit of trash TV. By trash TV, I don't mean reality TV and stuff, because I can't stand that. But to me, trash TV is like your hard-hitting drama series that you get on pay TV and that kind of thing. So Penny Dreadful just finished up, and I thought that the season 2 of Penny Dreadful was fantastic. It totally met my expectations coming off the back of the first season, and in particular I loved how awesome it was how evil the Brona Lily character got. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I've been watching. Looking forward to Game of Thrones starting again, but that's not going to be until April, so I think a lot of us will be waiting for that. And another thing I'm waiting for in April is a baby. I am pregnant at the moment, so I've made it Facebook official, so I may as well make it YouTube official. I'm 14 weeks along, so if all goes well, the baby will be born in April. So that's my exciting news. I've got a little bit of a belly. It just looks like a beer belly at this stage, but apparently the baby is the size of a lemon. And it's always fruit. I was talking to my friend Katie Flowers yesterday about it. And I said, oh, the baby's apparently the size of a lemon, and she said, it's funny how they compare it to something and it's always fruit. So that's really interesting. But yeah, so I'm very excited about that. And what I've been listening to, I've been listening to a lot of guided meditations, a little bit of music. I haven't been that focused on listening to music lately. I've just been listening to my usual kind of spiritual music. Like I like Diva Premal and Lorena McKennett, Wendy Rule, of course. She's one of my favourite singers, pagan or otherwise. And I've also been listening to the Penny Dreadful soundtrack. You can look it up on YouTube, but I think I'm going to go and download it. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing my favourites. I'm starting to lose light now, as you can probably tell. You probably, if you've watched this video the whole way through, it was a lot lighter at the start. But yeah, my son and husband are out watching monster trucks at the moment, and I can kind of hear the monster trucks in the background. So I am going to go and have something to eat, because I'm always hungry, and then I eat and I can't eat very much at a time, and then I'm just hungry 2 hours later, so it's really annoying. But anyway, I will let you go. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!